future, shattered dreams, end of times ain't what it seems.
Hello friends, this is Sam Cheney reporting for Weaponized News. Today is December 10th, 2025. Welcome to this Wednesday edition of Weaponized News. We have Ruckus from Alternate Current Radio on the line waiting to go over all this news and give us his views for today. So let me blast through the intro here and we'll bring him on and get into all of this insanity, which is our 24-hour news cycle, the tyranny of the crime syndicate known as your federal government. The House of Representatives just passed the 2026 NDAA, and so we can look forward to $1 kabillion, not quite $1 trillion, like 900 something, to go to war. And they're still calling it the defense budget bill. It's the war budget bill. Let's everybody get on the same page. We're ramping up for full-on war here now, as the government's told us. Department of War, I don't know, did you get the memo? We've been reporting extensively here at Weaponized News about it. News for the economy, Federal Reserve will cut interest rates for a third time this year, 0.025%. Whoop-de freaking do. We're going to go over that. The fallout in Main Street economy. The White House is looking heavy now. They're saying that the big beef cartel, we've been reporting on this for years, maybe someday, some way, the government would actually, do the will of the people and break up these monopolies. But I have a hard time believing that when the money interest lobbies go in there and pay off the corrupt politicians. As we know, the routine goes, democracy, and they scream it in your face as they're taking giant friggin' suitcases of cash out the back door, and they scream democracy and science in your face, right, as they're laughing all the way to the bank. So we have more of that corruption to report today. Department of Homeland Security news. Looks like they're trying to do some type of crackdown there in Minnesota, and Trump rolls out. It feels like we're watching bad reruns of dystopia. But now, again, Trumpcard.gov goes live today, allegedly. We reported when they originally announced it a few months back, and now it's gone live today, selling off the benefits, which are not much unless you're a kabillionaire, of U.S. citizenship. So we appreciate the corruption coming out of the Trump White House in that regard. Also, we have a lot of public health news today. We're looking for a big scaremonger story to get everybody in fear, and we just might have it, even though it's hard to sell, that public health scare after the whole bat cartoons on your television screen. And now, well, it's come out. They're admitting the miracles are hurting and injuring people and terminating people and so on, like we told you from day one. Now it's admitted in the mainstream, but it's still censored by Google and your U.S. government. And so the weaponization of government is continuing. Make no mistake about that. Speak out against the agenda and you will be censored. And so make no mistake about that on the internet. But thankfully, we have another fear-mongering campaign, this time coming out of Europe. State of emergency declared in Spain over African swine fever. And so doing anything possible to gin up that public health fear this Christmas season. What else do we got? Well, we're just, forget the middleman, forget even the pretense of we're fighting the war on drugs. We're just stealing your damn oil, Venezuela, as America has now essentially stolen a Venezuelan oil tanker. They're going to give us they were trafficking people, drugs, whatever contraband they make up, and provide us no evidence, but what the hell? Venezuela bad, U.S. theft of its oil, good. Are you a damn Hamas narco trafficking drug terrorist? And so that's where we're at there. Trump threatening Colombia now as well, and Mexico, as the threats of escalation of a full-on boots on the ground invasion into South America are escalating. We have that to cover. Still, what's going on? Russia, Ukraine. I don't know. Russia seems they're good to ride it out as long as it takes. So back and forth there. We're going to see what happens. Russia, Ukraine. We want peace, the same as Trump. What he says, at least by Christmas. Should have been the first 24 hours Trump was elected. He promised us. We're still waiting a year in for him to stop pulling the trigger there in Russia, Ukraine. And don't you worry, the genocide there in Gaza continues. It continues as the escalation by the aardvarks continues. Now they're now launching attacks on the daily. Of course, there's ceasefire, so it could never be happening into Lebanon, Syria, and of course Gaza. So all of that continues today. We got news about Palantir now. It's being reported, according to a new book, that Palantir helped Aardvark Clan carry out its pager attack in Lebanon. And so Palantir keeping us safe by blowing people's faces off with explosives in pagers. And what else? And then finally here, before we get to this day in history, where is the report? The Core 5, right? Allegedly, we went over the declassified public version of U.S. national security strategy on Monday with Simon, but it turns out there's a classified version that obviously we don't have full access to, but some leaks have come out. Of course, all what the government wants the public to know through Defense One. And they're talking about the classified version of the U.S. national security strategy is focused on Core 5. They call it Core 5 or C5, and shifting away from Europe and NATO toward a coalition between U.S., China, Russia, India, and Japan. So we'll have to take a look at that as well. Let's get to this day in history. On this day in history of December 10th, in the year 1690, Massachusetts Bay becomes the first American colonial government to issue paper money. There in 1690. In 1799, on this day, the metric system is first adopted in France. And we've been base 10 ever since. No, America has to have its own system here for some odd reason. And we're still trying to sort that out. In 1817, Mississippi was admitted as the 20th state of the Union on this day. In 1884, on this day, Adventures of Huckleberry Finn was published by Mark Twain in the UK, Canada, and America. Well, it was not actually available for purchase in America till February of 1885, the next year. In 1906, on this day, and there was a bunch of, they announced the Nobel Piece of Crap fake prize, and this day in history is littered with all the winners of it. We're going to spare you of the majority and just list here now the first American to win the Nobel Fake Peace Prize in 1906 was then U.S. President Theodore Roosevelt, becoming the first American to win the fake Peace Prize there from Nobel. 1968, on this day, Japan's biggest heist, biggest robbery in Japanese history, and still unsolved, 300 million yen robbery occurs in Tokyo on this day in 1968, and we're still looking for the perpetrators. Maybe the government should look at themselves first, huh? And then one of our favorites here at Weaponized News, Alexander Solzhenitsyn, Soviet novelist, chooses not to claim his Nobel Prize in literature for fear that the Soviet Union, USSR, would prevent his return after accepting the reward. 1970 on this day. In 2009, on this day, Barry Soetoro, otherwise known as Barack Hussein Obama, the first half-white president elected to America, received the piece of crap Nobel Prize in 2009 after literally doing nothing for being half white, apparently. And so very despicable there. And in 2017, on this day, the new normal, and it's nothing to do with bats. Turns out they've been working on this idea of social engineering mind control program for a long time. The new normal was first announced by Jerry Brown, then governor of California, in 2017 when surveying Southern California wildfire damage. And so that's where tell me if I'm wrong or you saw it somewhere first. That's the first time the phrase new normal was brought into the public consciousness, is through Jerry Brown talking about wildfires in California are the new normal. Forget the fact that after every, quote, wildfire caused by climate change, an arsonist is arrested. Forget all that. You're bad for your CO2 emissions. And on to our civil liberties history. We just have one event today that I felt worthy of coverage, and that would be in 1984. On this day, the United Nations adopts Convention Against Torture. The United Nations adopted the Convention Against Torture, often abbreviated CAT, C-A-T, on this day. Officially, the Convention Against Torture, Cruel, Inhumane, or other degrading treatment or punishment, the CAT was ratified by the U.S. Senate and thereby became American law on October 21st, 1994. Nobody told Dick Cheney and George W. Bush about this development, apparently. U.S. ratification became particularly important during the War on Terror under President George W. Bush, when many human rights activists argued that the, quote, enhanced interrogation tactics it employed violated the Convention Against Torture because they were torturing people. And so we do appreciate Dick Cheney and the George W. Bush administration torturing the hell out of terrorists that Western intelligence created, all to keep this circular loop of the war on terror and never-ending wars going forever, for our own safety, of course. And with that, here's our segue to Ruckus. What do we have? Well, let's play this. It's Celebration, Peace Through Strength from Christian Zionist Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. He just posted this in celebration of passing the NDAA out of the House of Representatives, a giant boondoggle on the American taxpayers, as we're looking at $38 trillion plus in debt, ticking up by the second. Who cares? As they laugh their asses off, fleecing the American people. Here's our segue to the news. Isn't it wonderful? Keeping peace through strength here now, we're told, or through death of Venezuelan oil, however you may see it. So there it is. Very exciting to throw $1 trillion at these never-ending wars. Ruckus, how you doing this Wednesday?
Matey, we be doing mighty fine. Shiver me timbers. We're pirates now, right? Apparently.
Trump is a pirate on the high seas in the Caribbean.
That's right. Actually, I got a full. Here you go. Yeah, he certainly. This is the cover of the new Assassin's Creed Pirates game. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, wild stuff. But that's the first thing I thought of, and I saw the footage, and I'm like, okay, so yeah, we're pirates, but we don't use the swashbuckling swords. We use big black helicopters and army men in full gear with the Anduril VR goggles and drones flying around and rappelling down like it's a Call of Duty game or something. And for what? To get the bad guys? No, to get the oil. Oh, Okay, cool. I mean, do we get a piece of that pie? I guess we do, because he wants to give everybody like $2,000 stimulus checks, give babies money after they're born, assuming they have the right genetics, of course, by the time that rolls around. But anyways, and the gold card thing, yeah, yep. Yeah, it's all like, it's all gravy on the high seas, Sam. I don't know what anybody's complaining about. Don't be a panikin, be a pirate.
It's a day of celebration as the House of Representatives of Unrepresentatives here overwhelmingly passes $900 billion plus annual defense bill. I don't know why they call it defense bill. It should be called the war bill. Well, at least we're getting more transparency in that regard. So the measure known as the National Defense Authorization Act, NDAA, passed the lower chamber of Congress today, the House of Representatives, in a vote 312 to 112. 94 Democrats and 18 Republicans opposed the bill, with Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, cheering it on, posting that video we played to segue to the intro here now. So they do love throwing money at the military-industrial complex there now to keep us safe, Ruckus.
Cool. Well, I just wish they would throw money at us instead. That'd be cool.
Well, someday, you can have your Michael Dell, with his robot wife, gave American born between this year and 2028 $250. And turns out, if you look a little bit deeper into it, he's not the great philanthropist propped up there by the Trump administration. Turns out, when you work out his $1 billion, it's a giant tax break and like 75% off. And if you do a deep dive and look at it, it's actually a giant scam on us, Joe Blow, American taxpayer. But what the hell? He has a weird looking robot wife, so we should all praise Michael Dell.
Is his wife really a robot? Is that true? Or are you just saying that?
It looks like a robot. I don't know. Or on some type of designer drugs. It's hard to tell.
Well, I mean, it's 2025, bro. You never know.
Bad news for Republicans out of Florida here now, Ruckus. Miami elects first woman mayor, marking first win by Democrat, and this happened yesterday. And so first Democrat mayor there in Miami, Florida. Exciting, right?
Sugar, I'm going to get myself in trouble, so I'm just going to shut up.
Elaine Higgins has been elected as Miami's first woman mayor and the first Democrat elected in 28 years. That happened yesterday.
Well, there you go. Way to go, Republicans. See.
So you give them all the power, which they have, controlling all three branches of government, essentially. I guess Supreme Court, you're supposed to be like, oh, they're, non-biased and impartial. But we all know that's not true. So Republicans, by and large, control both houses of Congress, the executive, and the Supreme Court. And yet we get jack, really. I guess we got a little tax cut on tips and overtime pay. And that's literally, and just never-ending war. And that's what we get with the Republicans in charge of the government here now, Ruckus, at the federal level.
Well, arguably, somebody somewhere got a whole lot of something. Yeah.
Not us. Not us. Here's the results on that Miami election. She won pretty handily here, almost by 20%. And so not much of a turnout there in a large city like Miami, but wow. So what's their total here? Like 40,000 people voted or something, according to these numbers. So it's like, damn, I think it looks like Miami has given up on, quote, democracy there now with this low turnout, resulting in the first female Democrat mayor in 28 years.
See, this is not a good sign for the Republicans. All she had to do was probably just be a Democrat. It probably wasn't even the fact that she was a woman. So she didn't have to do all the things. She didn't have to change her sex and become a furry and identify as a Martian and all of those things, whatever it is it takes to become a politician. Go visit the island find your name redacted in the files, that kind of thing. Nope.
She didn't have to
All
do any
all
of
she
that.
had to do was just sit back and let the Republicans suck. Way to go.
Oh man! And speaking of that, now it's being reported. Obviously, Gavin Newsom, governor of California, is the Democrat frontrunner for president in 2028. What a nightmare! It's being reported today that he's got over 100,000 new contributions to his campaign. Like, what? People don't have. You're giving money to a politician bad enough, but to Gavin Newsom, for God's sake. But
Who said it was money?
Yet it continues. Okay, on to the economy here now. The Federal Reserve has cut rates for the third time this year, 0.25%. Whoopty friggin' do. So that announcement was made earlier today by Federal Reserve Chairman Powell.
And nobody saw that coming. It was a total surprise. Oh, wait a minute. No, yeah.
Just like the impending invasion of Venezuela. Powell says Fed will wait and see before moving again, but pretty much rules out a hike. So they're telegraphing the interest rates will stay where they are. But he also, in this speech, Powell, they're going to do the quantitative easing again. And so the Federal Reserve is going to go ahead and buy short-term treasuries, essentially from itself or from the U.S. government, however circle jerk you want to, play it. And so we're going to see, to stabilize the markets, of course. And so it's just all giant fraud with the Federal Reserve announcing essentially quantitative easing here now. Ruckus?
Sam, one man's circle jerk is another man's money.
Treasury Secretary Bassett put out this post. He says, "Thank you to the president. 'Tis the season to be jolly unless you're a taxpayer." He left out California. I don't know what he's doing here. Unless you're a taxpayer in New York, Colorado, Illinois, or DC, for millions of hardworking Americans, and he names all the heads of those, whole school, Pritzker, all these jokers. I don't know why they left California out of it. They're all the Grinches, according to the Treasury Department here, courtesy of their Scrooge-like tendencies. America's seniors, along with all workers who would benefit from no tax on tips and no tax on overtime, will be robbed of the tax relief they deserve. The Christmas season should be a time of great cheer, but due to the Trump derangement syndrome of the governors and other radical leftists, too many low and middle income households will receive nothing but coal in their state tax stockings.
Bunch of Grinches.
But hey, they left out the part the government has to steal the money from you first here. And I do believe this is good from Peter Navarro. He's put out this video calling out the big beef cartel. Let's take a look at this. He says that big beef cartel has a chokehold on your steak night. 4 big packers run the show. President Trump is launching a DOJ probe into reviving real competition. Here's a video from Peter Navarro.
Ouch. $22. You ever wonder why your ribeye costs twice what it used to? Let's talk about the big beef cartel. 4 giant packers, Cargill, JBS, Tyson, and National Beef, control over 80% of America's beef supply. They squeeze ranchers by paying less for cattle and gouge families by charging more for meat. Under Biden, beef prices jumped almost 9% a year, twice the Trump-era rate, and big beef cashed in. President Trump has ordered DOJ to investigate big beef for collusion and price fixing, and he's rebuilding competition with more small local processors. Bottom line, Democrats cause inflation. Trump cures inflation. Follow for more straight talk.
It's all Democrats. It wasn't Trump that shut down the economy due to Operation Warp Speed and stalled all the supply chains. all the excessive medical interventions at the packing house. That had nothing to do with it, Ruckus. It's Biden and the Democrats' fault, you see.
We already knew that. He just confirmed it. He showed pictures. He put together a video. He held up a package of meat with the price on it. What else do you want, Sam? It's Pete, mother-loving Navarro, bro.
He has some street cred because he actually did go to jail for, lying to Congress, essentially. And so he's one of many now have gone to jail for Trump, essentially. And Trump, we're waiting for Trump to do his time. I don't think he's
Well, it's good to see he found himself a job. Oh, wait a minute.
Trump has inserted himself, speaking of monopolies here now, as we continue to consolidate the, quote, media in this country. Paramount and Netflix are in a vicious tug of war over Warner Brothers Discovery. And now, because old Larry Ellison's son is trying to get in there and work this deal, and they're trying to use leverage through the White House relationship. A hostile takeover occurs when a company attempts to acquire another company by going around the takeover target's management and making an appeal directly to shareholders. And that's what Paramount is trying to do now, this group is trying to do now in a takeover bid of Warner Brothers Discovery. Paramount and Netflix are fighting it out, and there's also foreign investors from Saudi Arabia and UAE as well. And so we're going to follow that as the media further consolidates, Ruckus.
I'll buy it. I've been sitting on $3,300 billion. I didn't know what to do with it. I think I'll make them an offer they can't refuse.
Epstein's files are unsealed by judge in dramatic last act. And so this last week, 2 judges here now, federal judges in Manhattan and Florida, in the last week have approved DOJ requests to unseal records from Ghislaine Maxwell's 2021 trial and Epstein's 2019 New York prosecution and his 2006 Florida conviction. So allegedly, all of this transcripts from these grand juries is going to be released publicly. My only question is, how long is it going to take them to redact Trump and all of his cronies out of these documents?
My only question is, how are they going to release them dramatically? What does that mean? They're going to put on a big show. They'll do a halftime thing. The jets flying overhead, spend a bunch of taxpayer dollars. I know they could have it delivered by drone, which is what Pete Hegseth did that one time, remember?
I remember. It would be dramatic if Pam Bondi can't even find the files on her very cluttered desk, apparently.
Well, that happened in real life.
Sad story here now, as is the Epstein saga. But as we reported yesterday, it's not only Epstein, there's many involved in this. We reported at length the Catholic Church's sexual abuse of children here now. Here's another American institution reported today. Be careful with your young sons and daughters, because there are plenty of predators out there that want to sodomize them. And it's quite horrific. Dozens of boys say they were abused in a Christian scouting program that vowed to raise godly men. Boys in the Assemblies of God join the Royal Rangers for Bible study and backpacking, but the ministry has also drawn sexual predators. And so they're claiming, young boys that were part of this program are claiming, here's one particular, says that at age 10, the Royal Rangers commander from the Assemblies of God Church in Albany, Oregon, fondled him and another boy at a sleepover. And it goes on and on with a bunch of testimony from these children that were part of the Royal Rangers program. Turns out that child molesters see the prey there, easy pickings, and go take advantage and abuse little boys in this case, Ruckus.
It has to be more than that simple. I mean, Seriously, because you would think, I mean, because people realize this, people say this, they point this out all the time. You would think at some point, the people who do run institutions or the industries that engage with small children would have a much tougher screening process for the people that they hire, and they do, believe it or not. So when I hear these stories, I go back and forth. Granted, the Catholic Church in particular has the longer history of trouble, but when they want to come out and they make these type of accusations about Christian organizations and summer camps, sometimes I have to take it with a grain of salt. There is a lot to be said about how some witnesses are coerced when it comes. I'm not saying any abuse did not take place, but there's a lot of things to take into consideration. But at the end of the day, let's just take it at face value that it seems to be that for whatever reason, we'll just leave all of the reports that yes, these types of things seem to attract those types of people. And notice, why is it always institutions that tend to be related to godly things? I think it's extremely satanic, whatever the motivation behind it. So I think there's a good, strong chance if I were a betting man, and I know I'm wearing my tinfoil hat right now, you can't see the strings with the thumbtacks behind me, but I assure you, I believe strongly that some of these people do these things deliberately, not just because they're into the things with the kids. They're probably not even really into it. They're more into satanic stuff, and they get some sort of power off of doing these things, in particular by degrading the good name of a Christian institution of any sort. Because when you hear these things, sure, it's just this group of people and just this one group of this organization. But if you're a believer or not, you walk away with, oh, Christians did this. God, this is God, anything related to that leaves a bad taste in the mouth. Very similar to what, with the Christian Zionism going gung-ho with the genocide in Israel. I'm like, you're not making Christians look very good now, are you? So I take offense at these types of stories, and I have to always look at them very carefully. And I'm not going to, if justice needs to be done, I hope it's done. But in general, if it's just stories being smeared around the media, it might be serving a larger purpose to just smear God.
Smear Christians is part of it as well. And those that are actually doing these acts are defiling the innocence of the youth as well. And I believe they believe they're garnering power out of it. The Royal Rangers, a Pentecostal version of the Boy Scouts, is what this operation was all about there. Okay, continuing, this maniac now, talking about the children, it's all about keeping children safe. They're doing the soft rollout now. We reported yesterday, Australia banning youth 16 and younger from social media. Now they're pushing it here in America exactly like we knew they would. Mr. Too Big to Fail, Too Big to Jail. Or no, that was the Attorney General. I'm sorry. This was Chief of Staff and former Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel. He's famous for never let a good crisis go to waste. And of course, his brother, Emmanuel, Mr. Eugenicist, famously said that everyone should only live to be 75 years old. Anyway, here he is, telling us how much he cares about the children and how we need to implement the same type of bans here in America. Former failed Obama chief of staff, failed Chicago mayor. Oh, Chicago's a giant war zone with this guy was their last mayor. What the hell? We should listen to him because he cares about children's safety on the internet. Let's take a listen to this as they're soft pedaling the digital ID here in America, and you could only expect the campaign to intensify from here. Here's Rahm Emanuel, never let a good crisis go to waste.
Today, Australia is banning all TikTok, Instagram, and all social media from kids that are 16 and younger. I think it's time for America to pick up its game and do the same. Look, when it comes to our adolescents, it's either going to be adults or the algorithms. One of them is going to raise the kids. And I think we need to help parents. It's too much for a parent to push against Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all the other social, Snapchat, all the other social medias. Apps. Our kids are way too vulnerable. It's too addictive, too alluring, that a parent should face off against these powerful companies that are trying to influence their children. Now, when it came to taking telephones out of classrooms, we've seen progress. When it came to restricting tobacco from our kids, we've seen progress. When it came to the designated driver, we've seen progress in protecting the safety and the development of our children. So today I'm calling for the United States to follow suit, come up with its own plan, but protect our children, help our parents, strengthen our families, and restrict all the social media when it comes to access to kids and adolescents 16 and younger.
There you go. Keeping the children safe, Ruckus, as they're soft pedaling digital ID here now is the real point of all of this. What are you against children's safety on the internet?
No, I'm all for this. In fact, they should be banned from watching all CNN and Fox News and MSNBC as well. I hope they institute that. Dude, in Australia, it's not just social media because they're doing this full on. I mean, you have to like show an ID now to just do a Google search. Okay. So it's getting pretty wacky, but there are multiple states in our country here in the United States. I want to say Minnesota is one, maybe. They're doing their own thing. They're already doing. Oh, Texas, my state's doing this kind of shit.
Alaska's doing it.
That was the one I was thinking of too. Alaska just made the news. They're doing a full blown everything, digital ID. I think they want to do a universal basic income trial, all sorts of stuff. I'm like, dude, just full blown technocracy. And in the background, you know, you're hearing reports. Maybe, hopefully, you all are hearing about this with the Amazon Ring cameras being hooked up with Flock and I mean, like, it's happening. You know, the technocracy is here. Like it's here. Like literally, it's getting crazy.
It's here. They're rolling it out right now. More public health news here. Yeah, that's not even important. Well, there's still this issue of Mexico dumping sewer water, untreated wastewater, and it's along the border there with Texas and California. And so we're still trying to sort out the dumping of sewage, essentially, in shared water supplies.
We should definitely bomb them.
Well, that may happen before you know it. The Trump administration has been taking important action to permanently end the flow of disgusting raw sewage from Mexico into the United States. We are working very closely with our Mexican counterparts to ensure San Diego area beaches can reopen, foul odor cease, and the Tijuana River Valley gets cleaned up as quickly as humanly possible. And that's from Lee Zeldin, head of the EPA, there at replying to this Trump post about Mexico must take care of its water and sewage problem immediately. It is a true threat to the people of Texas and California and the United States of America. And this has been going on for a good 6 months, a year, something like this. So we'll see how that sorts out. Department of Agriculture.
What I love about being an American is my world leader gets to tell other world leaders what they have to do in a post on social media. It's cool.
America, police of the world, you know. 6 more states are making America healthy again by removing unhealthy food from the SNAP program. It's being announced today by the Department of Agriculture. Hawaii, Missouri, North Dakota, South Carolina, Virginia, and Tennessee are all removing unhealthy foods from SNAP. And so according to this map by the USDA, I guess in these, and it's all politicized now, they don't care about your health. It's all about politics. And so in the gray states here now, you can still use your SNAP benefits to buy junk food, but it's pushing back against the Trump agenda. And so that's really all that matters. Who cares about your health? It's all political, as we always knew that health was. Your health depends on your political party and allegiance to whatever corrupt politician you believe is lying the best at that time. Ruckus?
Who determines which foods are healthy and not? Is it like a massive list, or do they just have categories? Do they say if it's 10% sugar or more, no? I mean, what's their quality? I mean, seriously, because like you look at most food in the grocery store, it's all unhealthy. I mean, people who know to only shop basically what's on the walls as you walk around the store, like all the fresh stuff. And even that is quite, I just saw a video, Sam, where they removed a section of like the where the lettuce is kept, where the sprayer's going. And underneath it had been like pooled a whole bunch of this disgusting, filthy, moldy gunk water right next to the fan that's blowing the mist and the water all over the vegetables constantly. And it's just like, dude, you can't even trust none of it. I wouldn't trust none of it. Grow it yourself. Or find a local farmer. That's all I can say.
They don't talk about any of the pesticide-laden GMOs. They leave all that part out. We've been begging on for the better part of 15 years here now, but forget about all that. They say here in this press release from the USDA, President Trump has made it clear we are restoring SNAP to its true purpose, nutrition. So the USDA is setting nutritional standards that qualify for essentially food stamps to purchase nutritious food, they tell us. And so that's where all of this is being cooked up at the USDA.
Is that what the program was designed to do originally?
That's what they claim.
Oh, well, I guess we just have to believe what they say rather than go look it on Google or Wikipedia. Should we ask Grok? No, don't do any of that, because that would make the current administration a bunch of liars, pulling stuff out of there. You know what? Shocked.
Ruckus, it's that time.
Ignore the panicans and trust in President Trump.
I deserved that.
So we just blind trust known psychopaths, and that is America here where we're at. Okay, more they go through a little bit more, but they're determining these nutritional standards for SNAP benefits at the USDA. Well, they're finally admitting it, Ruckus. What we said day one, it's finally admitted in your mainstream. Myocarditis is rare, I would argue that, but real. Miracle, the bat miracle side effect. And so now they're admitting this is stat, 5 years, 6 years too late, but they're admitting it. A new study sheds light on what causes it. And so what we've been saying from day one is now admitted in the mainstream, but you will still be censored by Google for even citing mainstream articles about it here now. As
you can't read the headline on YouTube.
Trippy, dude, close to you, maybe New Mexico. I remember you told me you're formerly of New Mexico. We may have to move back there, Ruckus, because New Mexico to accelerate launch of therapeutic psilocybin mushroom access. And so we may have to move to Mexico to get our magic mushrooms as part of a clinical trial to treat PTSD. There now is promised to be rolled out by the end of 2027, I believe, and New Mexico has accelerated the launch to start at the beginning of next year.
Medicinal mushrooms? No thanks. They got some mighty fine recreational marijuana going over there, though, I must say. Good stuff.
Trippy, dude.
Trippy.
Hey, and be careful too. I saw a report. Be careful eating wild mushrooms. Some are poisonous and will kill you. So don't just go out. Don't go out just picking mushrooms and think, oh, I'm going to get high on these magic mushrooms. Some are deadly poisonous. So be sure if you're out there in nature, magic mushroom hunting or mushroom hunting, be sure you're eating the right ones or it just may kill you. So FDA probes deaths linked to bat miracles here now. So we're finally getting some kind of action, maybe, on some type of looking into all of the ridiculousness that was the bats and the miracles, Ruckus, as the FDA probe, for whatever it's worth, is looking at deaths likely related to said.
Can we start with some of these propaganda outlets that, most likely knew better, pushing nonstop all day long, safe and effective, safe and effective, safe and effective, safe. Can they say, oh, hold on, sorry, guys, we mentioned 33 trillion times during the medical time there that these were safe and effective. It turns out we were wrong, and we apologize. We were moving as the speed of science, and we were working with nothing. They don't even give an F. They don't care. They don't.
Because they got paid, Ruckus. They already got paid. They already got paid. Most of them are gone.
The CIO, all the CEOs of these companies have vamoosed. Where are they? Find a single one of the
on their private island somewhere laughing.
Mm-hmm. They have new identities and faces and everything. You probably wouldn't know them from Adam, man.
As they should. Okay, finally, I was looking for some fear because the fear has subsided. And so we now have a new public health scare story today. We've been looking for it to scare everybody into taking experimental medical treatments, as is normal, and scream science at your neighbor. But it turns out Spain has jumped on board here with a new medical emergency, state of emergency declared in Spain over African swine fever. And so thankfully, we were looking for fear somewhere. It came out of Spain. And now be afraid of pigs because they're spreading African swine fever there in Spain. A state of emergency has declared. At least 13 boars near Barcelona tested positive. So the tests are 100% legitimate, and we need to probably lock down the world due to this development.
Wouldn't it technically be Spanish African swine fever? I mean, and until it escapes from the borders of Spain, I mean, is this going on in Africa, I assume? Is that why it's named African?
Just Spain. Restrictions have been placed on 12 municipalities with additional controls in large area. So it feels like governments have learned that you just scream health emergency and you can do any martial law tyranny you want. And that's what we learned from bats. Now we're moving on to pigs.
They're attacking our pork now, and I'm not saying any particular they. Get your mind. You're crazy. I can't think of a group of people that would be upset about pork. Anyway.
The government of Spain has deployed military support and approved 10 million euro aid package. Farmers fear significant economic impact as Spain is a major pork producer with over 30,000 pigs potentially needing to be culled.
How many?
30,000 pigs potentially needing to be culled, all using the PCR test, of course, that we know is 100% reliable, safe, and effective.
I would have been worried if it was 33,000.
No, they say 30 in this report.
They're just testing. They're just testing. They'll see. They're going to check it on Kalshi and Polymarket, on the prediction markets on crypto, and see how people feel. That's dude. I just read a report. Apparently, those predictions they're 90% accurate. 90%.
That's pretty good. That's better than any of these fake polls they have.
Yeah, it's wild, man. Anyway.
On this day, the Department of Homeland Security reminds us in this mural of Washington at Valley Forge from the Department of Homeland Security. They remind us, my brave fellows, you have done all I asked you to do and more than can be reasonably expected, but your country is at stake, your wives, your houses, and all that you hold dear. George Washington, December 1776, allegedly of Patriot lore here in America.
And then they went and got the Venezuelan boats.
We're getting there.
Stole their oil. Oh wait, never mind. I'm confusing my history, my timelines here.
That was more of Indians stealing their stuff back then. Okay, here's Trump.
Well, they were there first, but hey.
Here's Trump reminding us of these shithole countries and pondering why we let people in from shithole countries.
And we had a meeting, and I say, why is it we only take people from shithole countries, right? Why can't we have some people from Norway?
Very racist there. He goes on to name all these white Northern European countries. And there, of course, he's referencing Somalia as the shithole country. Very poetic there of Trump.
I thought shithole was a continent that he had renamed or something.
It is. It's right freaking here. And soon to be here. Soon to be here.
That's South shithole.
Well, it's very exciting. As we reported when it was initially announced, now it's actually rolled out. The Trump Gold Card is here. Very exciting. Ruckus here now mocking our U.S. citizenship, essentially, is how I see it. I want to sell my citizenship for $5 million and move somewhere else, but that's not part of this program. Here's Trump announcing today the Trump Gold Card. It's at Trumpcard.gov. We'll show you the website. And they do have a very fancy website. Here's the announcement from Trump today.
For me and for the country, we've just launched the Trump Gold Card. It was about 30 minutes from now. The site goes up, and all funds go to the United States government. It could be a tremendous amount of money. It'll also be able to have people like this keep, as an example, just one example, there are a lot of examples, people just buying them. It's somewhat like a green card, but with big advantages over a green card. And companies are going to be able to go to the Wharton School of Finance, the Stern Business School, Harvard, MIT, wherever you may get your students, any school, and you're able to buy a card and keep that person in the United States, actually, so there's certainty, because I've heard from Tim Cook of Apple, and I've heard from a lot of people, some of the people at this table, that essentially in the United States you can't keep the student, you can't hire people from the best colleges because you don't know whether or not you can keep the person. They come and have the people get out, they throw the person out of the country, you graduate #1 from your college, and
isn't that his immigration policies he's talking about? Like, it's just bizarre. I blame myself for my own immigration policies. Why these companies are not able to keep foreign student talent in the country. Somebody's immigration policies causing this. It must have been Biden. It's Biden's immigration policies. We solved the problem here, Ruckus.
So he's literally kidnapping the best students from other countries, making them pay for the privilege to come here and then stay here, therefore making their country of origin a shithole country and useless and pointless. What was that was just the middleman. That was just, wow.
Here's Letnick.
Water under the bridge. There you go.
Here's Letnick. These guys are con artists. They're racketeers. They never saw a scam they didn't love. Here's Howard Lutnick, Commerce Secretary, Epstein's former neighbor. Let's hear what this con man had to say about Trump Gold Card today.
For an individual, it's $1 million, and for a corporation, it's $2 million. And as the president said, for a corporation, they spend $2 million. They can then have an employee, full vetting, the best vetting the government has ever done, $15,000 vetting to make sure these people absolutely qualify to be in America, absolutely qualify. And then the company can keep them here, and they have a path to citizenship, right? Obviously, they have to be perfect people in America, and having passed the vetting, after 5 years, they'll be available to become citizens, and then the corporation can put someone else on the card. So for a company, they can keep putting people on a card, one person per card, and for an individual, it's $1 million, and it's a gift to the United States of America.
What the hell?
This is ridiculous and silly and bizarre, and I want nothing to do with it.
I'll sell my citizenship for $1 million right freaking now. Are you kidding me? Here's the post by Trump. The U.S. government's Trump Gold Card is here today. But you just heard from Letnick, $1 million from individuals and $2 million from companies. And that's the racketeering operation known as U.S. immigration policy here now. Buy your Trump Gold Card. What the? Look at, here's the site. Here's the site. And it's fancy, Ruckus. Trumpcard.gov. Here's the site officially launched today, a few hours ago. Unlock life in America. And then there, of course, the card, and it has to be gold because it's Trump. Special benefits. They go over the benefits. We're going to also see a Trump Platinum card coming soon. Here now, the gold card for a $15,000 DHS processing fee. Really? They're going to be looking at your social medias if you're ever critical of Aardvark land, for sure, amongst other vettings. So that's going on. They're going to charge you $15,000 for a fake background check. These guys are just too much. America's opportunities accelerated. Submit your application. Careful consideration and approval here now. they can invest in America, and we can continue to build the greatest economy on earth as they keep pumping that BS. But they have a fancy animated owl, or excuse me, eagle here on the site that I knew Ruckus would appreciate. Submit your application today for your $1 million Trump gold card for U.S. citizenship, or whatever they claim it to be, with the animated eagle on Trump gold card there on the website. Oh my gosh.
Pretty slick. Although, believe it or not, the slicker part for me was in the top hero section when the card came up from behind and in between the mountains. That's a nice little challenging maneuver there. The eagle, I could do the eagle. That wasn't too impressive, but nice
Here you
looking
go.
website.
Here you go, Ruckus. There you go.
Yeah, that's pretty slick. That's
Trump
well
gold
done.
card. It's rising.
Well done. Yeah. I mean, there's like 4 or 5 different layers working right there, and that's pretty tricky to pull off on a website. So kudos to them.
I'm sure they got paid handsomely.
Oh yeah, they probably did not use AI for that. They hired top-notch
graphic
developers
designers
for
for
this
sure.
shit. Yeah.
For sure.
Oh, yeah.
My question is, what are we going to do when Trump is no longer in office? He has like 3 years left, and we have all these Trump.gov websites, Trumpaccounts.gov, Trumpcard.gov. It goes on and on and on. And so that's Trump's legacy of these websites of racketeering operations that he's helped fronting for the U.S. government? That's what we're going to be left with, is Trump's legacy?
He's got a ballroom too.
Okay, we got to speed up here with all the news, so we're going to skip some things. Trump brings illegal immigration to a screeching halt here now, as they've been touting for a while here now. 0 entries here now, and so even legal immigration, Ruckus. So we've stopped all illegal immigration, the government tells us, and now all legal immigration. So there's a full freeze on any immigration here now, they're telling us.
Okie dokie.
That's a report out of Axios earlier today. Trump brings legal immigration to a screeching halt. And so there will be no...
It just happened on its own, or he literally said, I'm not letting anybody in?
Trump promised the most deportations in decades to reverse illegal immigration, but the system for illegal immigration is also buckling under the pressure. Why it matters? Any of these changes in isolation would strain the system. Doing them all at once could overwhelm it, and they go through all these different things they're trying to do to sort out, and they're still talking about the 1 point. Well, here they say 1.5 asylum seekers cases are pending, and so the immigration courts are backed up. They're saying 5-10 years it takes in some cases to even have your case heard seeking asylum here in America. So the courts and they appear to try to be remedying the problem with this massive recruiting campaign of attorneys and judges there to do something, but it's very slow going still, Ruckus.
Ridiculous. Humans are lazy, and they need to stop and take breaks and eat and sleep. They should have the robots do this. It'd be much quicker, more efficient, safe, and effective.
Department of Homeland Security is buying 737s for ICE deportations. The Department of Homeland Security has confirmed that it will buy 6 Boeing 737s for deportations and immigrations and customs enforcement. DHS has a contract with Delius Aviation for nearly $140 million. My question is, why didn't they do this at the very beginning of the Trump administration on the back of the promise of mass deportations? They should have taken an inventory of government assets and done the calculation. Can what we're promising even be logistically accomplished? And they seem to have whiffed all of that, and now came to the conclusion that, we need a whole bunch more planes if we're going to do this mass deportation effort. And I believe they need a lot more than just this if we're ever going to see the deportation of 30 million illegal aliens, Ruckus.
Well, shoot, why don't they just contract some of the private partnership companies out? Isn't that how we normally do it? That's how we do it with the military, right?
Maybe. Yeah,
What do they do? They just, I mean, are they like, they're literally round tripping each of these people to their destination countries, or are they just loading them all up at random on a plane and giving them parachutes, and they're just, as soon as they clear
in some
American
cases,
airspace, they say, "See ya." Time
in
to
some
jump.
cases, that is what they're doing. So,
Wild.
moving on here too. Okay. U.S. to mandate checks for some tourist social media history from the past 5 years. And so you're coming to visit America, you better scrub your social media of anything critical of aardvark land, U.S. government, or anything even a tad bit controversial, because you will be pulled up by customs enforcement and probably not let into the country because you'll be labeled a potential terror suspect.
5 years ago. What year was 5 years ago? What was anything particular going on?
And don't be critical of bats whatsoever. Any type of experimentation any of these mad scientists want to do, you should be donating to the cause of bat experimentation in the wild.
Very interesting that they chose 5 years ago. Very, very interesting. Yep. Not
They're
cool.
acting like they're tracking down. U.S. plans to order foreign tourists to disclose 5 years of social media history to visit this country. The proposal laid out in a notice published yesterday in the Federal Register would apply to visitors from 42 countries, including Big Brother, Britain, France, Austria, Australia, Japan, to name a few. And so we're looking at allies, alleged allies of American tourists coming to America, getting shaken down over their social media histories. Here's a meme of the day from the Department of Homeland Security. Against the dying of the light, join.ice.gov. And that's a meme of the day from the
They
Department.
want you to fill that word in your head yourself. That is incredibly devious, dude. I mean, I've heard of rage bait, but that takes the cake. It's literally rage bait. They literally want you to, so they're like, oh, rage against the die. Oh, well, this is crazy. Wow, dude, this really does take the cake, man. These guys are like masters in NLP propaganda. This is freaking insane, dude. You could write a novel about this meme, dude, if you were a psychologist. This is crazy. Wow. Anyway.
Yeah, they know what they're doing in the social engineering mind control program known as U.S. government propaganda. Well, here there's a pushback now, again, by Democrat states. Pritzker, he says, today I've signed into new legislation. Of course, that's Governor of Illinois, new legislation that expands legal protection for the people of Illinois. Dropping your kid off at daycare, going to the doctor, or attending classes should not be a life-altering task. And of course, he's talking about illegal aliens there in the state of Illinois being apprehended by ICE. And Department of Homeland Security had a reply to this. They say Article 4, Paragraph 2 of the U.S. Constitution still clearly states this Constitution and the laws of the United States, which shall be made in pursuant thereof, shall be the supreme law of the land. By signing this law, Pritzker violated the Supremacy Clause. Go arrest them. Go arrest them, feds. They won't. They won't. So the Department of Homeland Security just told me violated the Constitution, broke the law by signing this law into state law in Illinois. Go arrest them, feds. They won't. So it's all smoke and mirrors. I blame Democrats. I blame Republicans. Same old routine of BS, Ruckus.
So they can violate the Constitution and nothing happens.
Pretty much. And
he has the D next to his name or the R?
He has the D.
Okay. Could he do that if he had the R next to his name?
He could do it the same, but they they would probably cheer it on in that case. The Department of Homeland Security. It's just so ridiculous. Everything politicized to the max here now, and meanwhile leaving the American people out in the cold as these factions put on the political theater as if there's any difference between them. They all work for the government. So they're fighting back and forth. Department of Homeland Security, the Fed say that a governor is knowingly violating the U.S. federal Constitution, and nothing happens. So there you go. It's all.
Well, I mean, who are the Constitution police, anyways? Who goes and arrests the people who violate the Constitution? I've often wondered this. I mean, seriously, there's no
enforcement mechanism for breaking the law of the land. Allegedly,
You're
the
just
U.S.
like, oops, my bad. It just usually means you won't get elected again. Who cares? Moving on. Maybe somebody will pass like some sort of resolution to have you impeached, and it goes through that whole path. I mean, that gets nowhere. They did that with Gavin Newsom. They've done this with presidents. I mean, yeah, we're pretty cooked. We're really stuck with the people that we get, aren't we? This is ridiculous.
With whoever they select and put whatever puppet that the powers that be that shouldn't be put in there, we're stuck. And there is, like you said, we did recalls on Newsom twice here in the state of California. He was obviously recalled at the height of the medical intervention when he was cranking the tyranny down upon us. He was extremely unpopular. He was recalled, but they just rig it. They just rig it and say, well, then I guess you're against bats or something. It's just beyond the pale. Ridiculous.
And instead of being punished, he's the front runner for that party to be the running for president.
Instead of facing any retribution here, they shut down skate parks. They arrested people on the beach. They beat us over the head with propaganda for about 2.5 years here in the state of California. Like nothing we've ever lived through. Now he's the most popular Democrat, we're told. It made no damn sense unless Democrats like being under the boot of medical tyranny. Then maybe they do. I don't know. So, but I don't particularly like the way that they handled their public health policy, specifically here in California, because we had horrific outcomes, as can be proven out by history. And so, but apparently Democrat voters love it, if we're to believe any of this nonsense. And with that, let's take our live commercial break, Ruckus. Everybody go to weaponizednews.com. Get yourself a holograph sticker, a white background sticker, and a clear sticker, weaponizednews.com. The link to the shop is in the description below. And our item of the week now, I think we'll run this all the way to Christmas. We did have one patron pick one of these up yesterday, so appreciate it. Patrons out there, the Weaponized News Snow Globe for your Christmas season adventures. Weaponized News Snow Globe there on sale at weaponizednews.com shop. Right there. Get your Weaponized News Snow Globe this Christmas season. Appreciate all of the subscribers and the patrons to Weaponized News Store. All the links are in the description below. Cash App, Buy Me a Coffee, Bitcoin wallet address, all right there. Help support independent reporting and analysis brought to you here 5 days a week by Weaponized News. Go ahead, Ruckus, and plug away.
Yeah, sure. You all know. Go to Alternate Current Radio for all of the cool alternate current radio stuff. I finally fixed that stupid arrow. But that's where you'll find the Boiler Room, Sunday Wire, Roundabout Ruckus. I want to recommend something that I did with my friend Jamie Hanshaw right here. Her podcast called Out of This World. This was a fantastic and fun discussion, so please check this one out in case you missed it. You can watch it right there on the website or watch it on YouTube. But this one's got all of the show notes. Look at all these links. That's all the stuff that we covered. There's a lot of good stuff on this one, guys, so I highly recommend that. But you'll find that at alternatecurrentradio.com. You'll also find links up there. Figure out how to reach me via email and my X account via DM if you want some help. As I do the word slinger stuff, you need a website, some cool graphics, some advice, consultations on whatever you're doing as a solo entrepreneur or a small business owner, hit me up. You'll find me at AC_wordslinger on X or send me an email, ruckus@alternatecurrentradio.com. There you go.
Awesome. Thank you for that. I'm going to check out your show there with Jamie and give you a like and a share on the old YouTube over there. Everybody give us a like, share, subscribe, push that notification button. Followers tell us the notifications don't even work. So you've got to really try hard to catch Weaponized News through this shadow banning, throttling of censorship. Well, they say it's a free speech panacea now. Well, no, actually, the internet's more censored than it's ever been before as they try to cordon us off in our little echo chambers and scream into the void here now. So we do appreciate everyone tuning in to Weaponized News. As we knew it, I know it takes some effort to even find us, for crying out loud, through all the other and notice I don't cover any of this drama BS of all the Tim Pools, the Candace Owens, all this BS they're spewing that I see out there on the internet. And this seems to take up everyone's time and effort and energy fighting about the Charlie Kirk conspiracy. Who gives a rip? We're talking about hard news that affects your life. Charlie Kirk conspiracy doesn't, but it seems to catch up those soft-minded MAGAs with any of the next current thing, PSYOP. They seem to get swept up into very easily. We respect you more here at Weaponized News, and we don't bring any of that bullshit into this broadcast because it is just complete and utter bullshit, Ruckus.
I guess now is not a good time to ask you what you thought about the latest Charlie Kirk conspiracy rabbit holes. Just kidding. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. That stuff is just a giant distraction from this type of stuff right here that we're discussing. So, I appreciate you, Sam. That's why I come on and help you out once a week. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Ruckus. I did. Now, after saying all that, I did see Kirk's wife. I forget even her name. She's out there selling. She wrote a book about the whole ordeal and is now selling it on Fox News like 90 days after her husband was assassinated. And so very bizarre behavior, to say the least here. But I'm sure your Fox News neocon MAGAs will eat it all up and not even question how is any of this even possible.
I'm not lying. They have "What would Jesus do" bracelets that say "What would Charlie do?"
To speaking to your point earlier about making Christianity look bad, I believe that all of their efforts are backfiring, and it looks really freaking bad. And people see that, and they're like, "I don't want anything to do with these Christians. They're a bunch of weird freak shows that worship that wall in freaking genocide land." You know what I mean? And that's what I do believe a large part of this is all about, is discrediting Christianity as a whole.
I look at it as all, at the end of the day, they're just discrediting all the decent, hardworking grifters. There are much finer grifters out there who have been doing this much longer than you, and you guys just come on the scene and just make a mess of things. How dare you? No, I'm just kidding. All grifters are bad.
Well, we're stealing Venezuelan oil now, Ruckus. So we've just cut out all the pretexts. They're not even claiming there was drugs on the boat, for God's sake. We just straight up stole the freaking oil tanker. Here's the video released by Department of Justice, Miss Justice, Pam Bondi here. How any of this is legal or anybody thinks that this is cool is beyond me. But we're not even saying the lie. They could have at least told us, "Oh, we seized this oil tanker and there wasn't oil there. It was full of fentanyl." You see, they're not even telling us that. They're just like, "We stole an oil tanker. Here's video released by the government today." Of course, it's all for our own safety. This is U.S. Army pirating. This is how you get jacked by the big boys here. The head of the crime syndicate in the world. They send in these helicopters, men with who even knows what kind of technology and lethal weapons, and they can and will and did steal your oil vessel there now. And if you want to complain about it, they shoot you and throw you overboard, or you may never even be seen again. As reports of bodies from the previous strikes on the Caribbean and Pacific side, bodies of those victims of the drug vessels are washing up in Mexico, it's being reported. And they say, "What the hell? You're a terrorist." You know what I mean? It's like, what? So there was the raid today on a Venezuelan oil tanker. And again, the excuse they're using is that Venezuela was going to sell this, or somehow it's involved with Iran, and this is violating of U.S. sanctions, and so that's a justification to go ahead and hijack and pirate their oil tanker, Ruckus. I'm convinced. Are you?
I'm convinced they're doing anything in their power to make Maduro pop off, right? They really, I mean, there's brazen and then there's brazen. This is crazy, dude. There's no justification for this whatsoever. Wild.
Violating U.S. sanctions, and sanctions are an act of war, economic war, that most people don't realize. And they affect Joe Blow, poor people. They don't affect the, quote, elites that they're targeting one little bit. And so that's the wages of hegemony that America must pay, is to oppress already poor third world people through sanctions. Here's Trump about the piracy on the Caribbean seas earlier today.
Well, thank you very much. It's been an interesting day from the standpoint of news. As you probably know, we've just seized a tanker on the coast of Venezuela, a large tanker, very large. Largest one ever seized, actually. And other things are happening, so.
The largest act of piracy ever, according to Trump there.
That's such a Trump thing. Oh my God, I'm dying. The largest one ever seized. We seized it. We did it. It was the finest seizure ever. That's what they say. It was the best seizure in history. Like, this is, of all the oil tankers America has ever seized, this was the finest. How many others have we done this for, sir? Oh, this is crazy, bro. This isn't real. I'm still sleeping. This is a dream.
We're in.
Sam Altman was just on like one of those late night shows. Which one was it? Help me out here.
Kimmel or
yeah, I don't
Colbert,
one of those two,
yeah.
Whatever. But he was going off about how important, he didn't realize until just recently how important oil and energy sector was. And then you know, like literally,
a real genius.
Literally the next day, we're like, yeah, we just seized an oil tanker, and I'm like, what? So I think a lot of this push for the energy stuff, maybe that's the reason we're hitting it hard. Maybe the United States, what's the word for this? God, Patrick Henningsen would be so mad at me if I don't know the word for this. Our global policy or geopolitics, or whatever that fancy word is that we use for it, has shifted to serve the interests of the big tech bros for the purpose of the AI data centers, because we have to beat China.
We're in an AI Cold War.
Everything.
We're in an AI Cold War.
Yes.
And it's going to use all resources available and unavailable if we're to win this AI Cold War with China. Now we're backhandedly giving them the freaking chips from NVIDIA as approved by Trump administration yesterday. For God's sake, it's just all so ridiculous.
Which makes sense. If this is the case, then their maneuvering and what they're doing with Venezuela makes perfect sense, because it does have the largest amount of like deposits of oil.
Largest oil reserves in the world.
In the whole planet. Wow. Coincidence, right?
No, it's fentanyl coming from there, which they don't even ship, but who cares? You know what I mean? Trump asked when asked, what are you going to do now with the captured Venezuelan oil tanker? Trump says, I don't know. I guess we'll keep it. Just casually, we just stole a bunch of oil from Venezuela. We'll keep it. Yeah.
I hadn't thought that far ahead yet.
Another sign things are cranking up here now in this massive resource theft that is now live with the stealing of this oil tanker to kick things off. New 4-star Western Hemisphere Command activated, Ruckus. U.S. Army Western Hemisphere Command has been activated at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, marking the first 4-star operational theater command base in the U.S. General Joseph Ryan leads the new command, which consolidates roles from the U.S. Army Forces Command. And so That's a big sign. They're cranking up the Western Hemisphere command bases.
That doesn't sound dystopian or Big Brother or what? That sounds crazy, wacky.
The head of it, U.S. General Joseph Ryan, said today, now quoting him, he said, "Today starts the clock. The command will operate with a focus on homeland defense, humanitarian assistance, and support to civil authorities."
Those three things have nothing in common with each other. What the hell? Very odd.
We're getting very more Orwellian by the day. Maduro is pretty spooked, rightfully so, just waiting for his timely assassination. I don't know, but Maduro's out there giving speeches. In a speech today, I think this is in English. Quick clip, 30-second clip from Maduro, president of Venezuela, saying he wants peace. I don't know. He's a damn narco drug trafficker.
No more Vietnam. No more Somalia. No more Iraq. No more Afghanistan. No more Libia. Basta de guerras eternas, carajo. Basta de guerras imperiales.
Damn. He knows he's next.
That's why that wasn't him. That was his body double.
May very well been. And guess who else is next? Colombia. Here's Trump about going into Colombia. And then we'll have the Colombian president's reply. It's
Gotta stock up on coffee quick.
Maybe we'll just go steal it all.
Mexico, Venezuela, and Colombia. And you talk to the president of Mexico, you already talked to Nicolas Maduro. Have you considered talking to the president of Colombia, whom you call a drug dealer?
No, I haven't really thought too much about him. He's been fairly hostile to the United States. I haven't given him a lot of thought. He's going to have himself some big problems if he doesn't wise up. Colombia is producing a lot of drugs.
He invited Trump to go tour Colombia's drug interdiction efforts there. And so Trump acts like that didn't happen. Here is Gustavo Petro, president of Colombia. He says Maduro's government must understand that the response to an external aggression is not just military mobilization, but a democratic revolution. It is with more democracy that a country is defended, not with more inefficient repressions. It is a general amnesty, not extending the prison. The European peoples defeated Hitler's great invasion with a great political and social pact that allowed workers to participate in the profits, have Social Security, and better salaries after the war. It was the armed workers in the armies of the United States, the Soviet Union, and the European resistance who won the war against Hitler, and they did so because they knew there would be a more democratic society in Europe, and we're seeing how that's working out. I don't know what this guy's talking about, but they have full-on surveillance state technocracy, even worse than America here, arresting people in the UK for Facebook posts, for crying out loud. But he's still echoing the freedom of the past that was allegedly won with the victory there in World War II, and left out the part about shipping over 1,600 Nazi scientists, Operation Paperclip. That's how we won World War II here in America. So old Colombian president needs to think about history a little bit deeper here now.
It's a matter of changing definitions. The word democracy does not mean what you think it means. Just like, I mean, not that long ago, democracy didn't mean what most people thought it means. But even those of us who understand what democracy really means, we got it wrong, too, because they sneakily changed the definition on us without telling us, of course, because they're not obligated to, you know.
Maduro's calling for a unification of South America, essentially a new type of merging of Venezuela, Colombia, anybody else who wants to get on board with a new kind of coalition he's trying to create, a little bit late in the game, I think, here
How
now.
come when people do it, it's called a conspiracy, but when countries do it, it's called a coalition?
No, it's a conspiracy by them as well. Okay, everybody's been waiting for technocracy, and we have it here now for you. Amazon announces $35 billion investment in India. So if you like your Indian call centers now, just wait till it's all AI. The investment in India by 2030 to advance AI innovation and create jobs. So if you're, if you get frustrated with the thick accent of your Indian call center operator, imagine Indian AI dealing with that in the near future here now, trying to resolve your Amazon purchases.
It's going to be fine because the AI agents from India will be speaking with your AI digital twin, and they will be competing. They will be communicating in high-speed gobbledygook binary language. I forget the word for it, but they do this sometimes. When one AI finds out it's talking to another one, they can use this shortcut, like screeching noise that's 100 million miles per hour, and they're done in 5 seconds. And you're like, "Wow, that was quick and easy, safe and effective." Moving on to my Big Mac and my Ozempic now. Thank you very much.
Don't forget, they're rolling out cat Ozempic as well.
I can't forget. I'll never forget that one. That's going down in my top 10 stories of the year for sure.
So we're waiting still for Ukraine, Russia to sort out the peace deal. European leaders are not waiting. European leaders agree to fund Ukraine for 2 years, but using Russians' stolen assets, essentially, here now, is what the European Union leader van der Leyen has announced, according to a report out of ABC News. And so America is backing
This whole
away.
time, we could have used the money that we stole from Russia instead of using our own money. What the heck were we thinking? Sorry.
UN sleuth reveals that secret money trail from Minnesota, $1 billion in Somali fraud. Report out of the Daily Mail. And so there is giant fraud going on there in Minnesota or Somalia or shithole land, whatever, however you want to refer to it. We'll see how all this sorts out and how it was ever allowed to get so bad in the first place. Will any local government officials ever be held accountable for any wrongdoing on any of these fronts? I have my serious doubts, Ruckus.
Me too. Hashtag me too.
Trump Peace Prize. He solved the Thailand-Cambodia conflict. No, actually, they're still shooting each other there. And so a lie by Trump claiming that he brokered a peace deal when it's just simply not the case. Thailand's Air Force says it is ready to carry out deep strikes on high-value military targets inside Cambodia if intelligence confirms an imminent threat from continued heavy weapons use along the country's border.
That's a mouthful.
They're still shooting at each other in Thailand and Cambodia. But Trump is
Can't we all
claiming
just get along, people?
Honduras elections have been officially annulled due to election fraud.
Fraud.
U.S. Navy, you'll like this one, Ruckus. U.S. Navy unveils $448 million push to embed AI across shipbuilding sector. And so now AI is somehow going to help us build the Navy for the 21st
I know
century.
who won the contract already.
Who?
It was Palantir. It just hit the headlines earlier tonight.
Did,
I was all,
did
well,
they really?
son of a yeah. They just scored a nice fat contract with the Navy over what you just reported there. Yep.
Well, thankfully,
almost instantaneous too. It's like, wow, shit. How did they know? How did it, So, man, things happen fast, right? The stock is up, by the way. No surprise.
Clinton remarks condemned as genocide denial by Lemkin Institute. And so Hillary Clinton kind of laughed it off and yucked it up about accusations of aardvark land genocide there in Gaza by saying that it was just a PR issue and misunderstandings of propaganda on TikTok is what amounts to the Gazan genocide currently ongoing. Well, we appreciate
It
happens. And so Hillary Clinton, they're pushing the Zionist line, as we would expect, former Secretary of State. Washington has warned it will impose new sanctions on International Criminal Court unless the court agrees not to pursue future cases against Trump or his administration, according to a report out of Reuters. So they know they're committing war crimes. They know what they're doing is wrong. They know. But hey, just threaten to sanction the ICC and you should be all in the clear. Somalia, back to not Minnesota, Somalia, as there's an ongoing war there. The NISA says it killed at least 12 al-Shabaab militants. That's the alleged ISIS branch there in Syria today, as they tell us they're trying to do something to eradicate the radical Islamic terrorist threat in Somalia, propped up by Western intelligence, of course. For the first time, Danish Defense Intelligence Service has named the United States as a negative factor in Denmark's security outlook. The agency cites growing uncertainty over U.S. role as Europe's security guarantor and its increasing use of economic and technological power, even against allies. And we're starting to see a hard break here now between America and Europe and NATO in regards to Russia, Ukraine, and other issues. Ruckus.
America's turning into that rock and a hard place. You get stuck in between kind of thing. You're like, man, dude, I really don't want to make enemies with the United States, but I really don't want to be their friend anymore. So what do I do? Yep, that's how the whole world is feeling right about now, my guess.
Here's the largest Christmas tree in Syria. Let's play this clip of this celebration. Tallest Christmas tree in Syria rises where the church suicide bombing took place. So there is the celebration of the largest Christmas tree in Syria.
It's a big tree.
Yeah, metal. U.S. frustrated with aardvark land attacks on Syria as Tel Aviv claims war's inevitable. And so we just had the big whirlwind tour of al-Shara, former Al-Qaeda, ISIS, where he went to America, he went to the United Nations, he went all over the world shaking hands and saying how he's now a reformed terrorist. But turns out aardvarks are not buying it so much, and they're attacking Syria as we speak. Ruckus.
Shocking.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it seems to me like it doesn't take much for the aardvarks to attack somebody. And like proximity maybe might be a factor. It's almost like they have a map somewhere where there are certain places that you just know they're going to hit. I don't know. If we had access to this map, maybe we could just guess where they're going to hit next, right?
The Greater Aardvark Land Project.
I forgot about that. Darn it. Is Syria in there?
Part of Syria is in there, and they're not going to give. They're not going to give back the occupied Golan Heights, which is part of Syria. They're here now.
Well, never say never.
Reported earlier today, warplanes conducting heavy strikes near Damascus, Syria today, carried out by the aardvarks. So all of that goodwill tour by Mr. Al-Qaeda, it doesn't seem to dissuade. And let me ask you this question, Ruckus. Why does Al-Qaeda, ISIS, that hates all of the West, America, aardvark land, hates it all allegedly because They're orchestrating the global caliphate, we're told, and Islam's going to take over the world. Why do they never? That's the story they tell us, these radicals that are the terrorists. Why do they never attack Aardvark land directly over there in West Asia? As there's factions in all over the place, we're told. There's factions in Syria, there's factions in Iraq, there's factions all over the place that allegedly hate these guys' guts, but they never seem to muster up an attack against them. What do you make of that?
They've all been relocated here to America. They were let in by the dirty, evil Democrats, and if that never happened, they would. No, I don't. It doesn't make any lick of sense. No, it seems that one particular participant in this folly, as it were, is more of the aggressor than the others participants in this folly. Yeah, Aardvark land is always like, and they'll say, oh, it's a preemptive strike, and I was just like, what does that even mean? I mean, like that's a whole new one on me in my modern life.
We preemptively stole that Venezuelan oil because they were going to use it to lubricate their military equipment. See, I could be a propagandist for the government too.
That's right.
Okay, so on Monday with Simon, we covered the public declassified U.S. national strategy, U.S. national security strategy. Today, we see a report of some leaking of the classified document to Defense One. And in this report, they say there exists a longer classified version of the U.S. national security strategy that goes beyond the publicly released version. This document reportedly proposes creating a new global governance body called the quote Core 5 or C5, consisting of US, China, Russia, India, and Japan. The main points in the longer version include competition with China, a withdrawal from Europe's defense, and a new focus on the Western Hemisphere. What was determined to be on C5's proposed agenda is the normalization of relations between Saudi Arabia and Aardvark land. The classified NSS also emphasized a strategic pivot away from Europe, treating the continent as largely irrelevant to U.S. interests. It focuses on partnering with like-minded regional powers while acknowledging that permanent American hegemony is unachievable. According to Defense One, the longer version of the NSS explicitly details the quote failure of U.S. global domination, describing it as quote the wrong thing to want, and it wasn't achievable. And so I'm still saying that this is all a soft power transfer to the East in the new world order, in the new era. And this goes back to the Biden administration under Secretary of State Anthony Blinken. What say you, Ruckus?
There are echoes of conspiracy theories here that have been discussed multiple times from different angles for probably, I don't know, probably at least 8 years or so, involving what you just described. And this is an interesting report, but I wonder if it's not just conspiracy theory candy for a select group of people who pay attention to these type of things. It almost feels like, I hate to say it, I don't know the outlet, the rag, Defense One, is that the media group?
That's where this report's coming out of, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I don't know much about them, but I mean, it almost seems like this is one of the, did they cook this up? Did they make a fake alleged this is what the report used to say. This is, I mean, how can you prove that? I mean, it's like, you can't,
You can't. It's just unnamed sources, essentially, because they're saying it was a leaked, classified document.
I don't know.
And trust me, bro, we're partnering up with Russia and China. Like, this doesn't,
It just doesn't feel right. I don't know.
I hear you on that. Anyway, that's what's being reported. Continuing here. What do we got? 20 minutes left. Well, let's dig into Aardvark land a little bit here. The genocide will continue. The World Aardvark Congress president, there is such a thing, and old information liberationism. This guy digs he tracks the aardvark conspiracy, the meetings, and so their organized aardvarkism is a thing, and they have meetings seemingly every freaking day decrying hate against them that they have fomented. And so here is the World Aardvark Congress President Ron Lauder calling for massive spending and lawfare to suppress antiseptic behavior. Let's take a listen. So all of that's coming as we continue to report. Wait, you ain't seen nothing yet on the propaganda front supporting aardvark land and genocide, because they're going to crank it up from here on out.
Anti-Semitism is rampant throughout our culture. For years, too many brushed it aside. They said, it's just a few angry kids. It won't go further. This is America. There is no anti-Semitism in America. They were wrong. Over the past 2 years, anti-Semitism didn't just rise. It exploded. We must spend as much as it takes to turn social media around with the truth, not lies. Remember, social media is a battleground for the next generation, just as education is. And it's not just colleges and universities. Today, our enemies have pushed their indoctrination against Jews and Western civilization.
Again, it was in large part the indictments by the ICC for war crimes and crimes against humanity was in large part due to IDF postings of their said war crimes on Telegram and other internet platforms. And so, but hey, we always have to deflect and say, well, you're a bunch of damn bigots for noticing the fact that over 70,000 Palestinian bodies have been stacked up. And we have a report too where former aardvark military is admitting Hannibal doctrine essentially a little bit later here. Ruggers, what do we make of this? Don't be a bigot, right? Pretty simple.
Yeah. Well, it was nice to see Mel Brooks. I haven't seen that guy in a while.
That's Ron Lauder. That's not Mel Brooks.
I'm being a jerk. Yeah, no, it's ridiculous. I mean, it's similar to what Hillary Clinton was doing lately too, which is odd. Almost like they were in lockstep with this talking point here.
Almost like there's a conspiracy of global aardvarkism.
I would never theorize such a thing because that would make me a conspiracy theorist or an antiseptic, I suppose. Man, it's getting hard to tell with which aardvark you mean. Does it represent this word or not? I think I finally figured it out. So what was the name of that group again? National Aardvark what?
That was the World Aardvark Congress President.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
But there is no organized aardvarkism, you see.
No, of course not. No.
But they do have a World Aardvark Congress.
It's a club. It's like for fun.
U.S. Secretary of State Little Marco meets up with Foreign Minister Gideon how you say his name? Here they are in all their glory with old glory and old aardvark flag there. And so they met up again today to see how to further the genocide, amongst other issues. Aardvark land tanks fire on UN peacekeepers in southern Lebanon. So they're attacking the UN. But yay, they just say UN are a bunch of terrorists. You know what I mean? So that's where we're at, is they're attacking UN peacekeepers in southern Lebanon as the onslaught on southern Lebanon continues. As we reported, heavy artillery fire, air fire, they're bombing the hell out of them. And so
2 weeks before Christmas too.
In the season here now. In the spirit of the season.
There's a lot of peace and love going around the world for the holidays. I love it.
So you aforementioned Palantir got this big Navy contract to be part of AI shipbuilding. Also, Palantir in the news came out from antiwar.com, this report about a new book Technology developed by the U.S. firm Palantir was deployed by the Aardvark military during its attacks on Lebanon in 2024, including the infamous pager attack, which Aardvark Land has nicknamed Operation Grim Beeper. According to a new book, the book, a biography of Palantir's co-founder and CEO, Alex Karp. I can't sit still because I'm all whacked out on whatever. Titled The Philosopher in the Valley, Alex Karp, Palantir, and the Rise of the Surveillance State, was written by Michael Steenberger, no Aardvark relation there, obviously, a contributor to the New York Times Magazine. He went on to say, Palantir's technology was deployed by the Aardvarks during the military operation in Lebanon 2024 that decimated Hezbollah's top leadership. It was also in Operation Grim Beeper, in which hundreds of Hezbollah fighters were injured and maimed when the pagers and walkie-talkies exploded. The Aardvarks had booby-trapped the devices. So Palantir was instrumental in carrying out the Operation Grim Beeper. Ruckus.
Did they give away some of the awesome details about how they made sure that the exploding pagers only harmed the Hamas fighters and did not accidentally kill or maim children, women, innocent bystanders? Because, oh shoot, wait a minute, that's exactly what happened, didn't it? Darn it. Oh well. Oh.
Well, they're everybody around there that is not Aardvarkism is a terrorist. According to numbers of the Lebanese government, the attacks killed around 40 people, including 12 civilians. 2 children were killed by the explosions, and others were left injured or maimed for life. One of the victims, a 9-year-old girl named Fatima, was home with her father when his beeper exploded, and she picked it up to bring, or when his beeper beeped, she picked it up to bring it to him, and it exploded, mangling her face. And we do a video at a market of a Hezbollah terrorist, we're told, shopping and having his little, well, let's play this short clip. Here it is. And of course, it was targeting the real terrorists and not in shopping centers or innocents. We're all protected. Maybe we won't play it. Oh, turns out we're not going to play that clip because it won't play. But anyhow,
we've all seen it.
Continuing here, the book didn't specify how Palantir's technology aided in the attacks. According to former Aardvark intelligence officers, the attack was years in the making. The Aardvarks tricked Hezbollah into purchasing thousands of booby-trap pagers and walkie-talkies from a fake company. The book also went on to say that people who worked at Palantir denied being involved in deploying AI targeting systems for Gaza. That was formally reported by 972 magazine, but they detailed other ways the U.S. company aided Aardvark Land in its genocidal war against the Palestinians. So they're saying that the reports of lavender, the 6 degrees of separation, they're saying that is not 100% accurate, but we did aid in other ways in the genocide. So just know that we're full on with the genocide.
No, they weren't saying that those things didn't go down as they were described in their report. They were just saying they weren't involved in it.
Mm-hmm. Allegedly.
Yeah, there's more than just Palantir out there, people. Yeah. There's a whole buttload of these companies.
There's a bunch of them.
It's pretty shocking.
Palantir was assisting Aardvark Land in other ways. Its software was used by Aardvark military in several raids in Gaza in which hostages were freed. See, they're helping, and also helped facilitate the handover of detainees who were released by Hamas. So, see, they're helping. Earlier this year, Karp, CEO of Palantir, was confronted by a protester who said Palantir's AI technology kills Palestinians in Gaza, which he didn't deny. Mostly terrorists, that's true, was his response.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. The way this works is it's software. So it's like a set it and forget. It's like some people get twisted in their head. They're like that people at Palantir and the CEO. They're actively engaged. No, they made this freaking product and then they
It's a
willingly sell
tool.
it.
It's a tool, right?
Yes. And then they sit back and they have zero qualms. Like the one guy, the other guy, Theo, when they confronted him about it, he's like, because he's ignorant, because he doesn't pay attention, because he doesn't care. There's no dog in the fight for him. He's just like, well, I believe in the technology and I trust that the humans are going to do the right thing and kill all the right people kind of attitude, right? Whereas Alec Karp, he's like, hell yeah. He's like, you only killed 2 kids with those pagers? We got to do better next time. The guy's insane. That guy is a true believer, 100%. Yeah.
Former Aardvark hostage chief says Aardvark land fire killed most captives on October 7th. Again, reiterating the Hannibal Doctrine. In a striking admission reported by Ynet, that's mainstream in Aardvark land, retired Major General Nat Zon Alon, Aardvark land's former hostage and missing persons chief, said that most Aardvark captives killed in Jublia, that's of course the October 7th worst attack in the history of the world site, died due to Aardvark land fire, not by Hamas, describing the chaos, intelligence gaps, and political pressure that plagued the military's response after October 7th. So there you go. Once again, what we've been reporting the entire time, the majority there killed were not by Hamas, but through the Hannibal Doctrine implemented by Aardvark land, where they'd rather kill their own people than have them taken hostage. As we have seen, they don't like the ratio of Palestinian Aardvark exchange, so they say there is no exchange. We'll whack you ourselves and save us the time, effort, and energy to do a hostage exchange.
It is the humane thing to do, after all, because we all know how Hamas treats those prisoners. We got to witness the return of the prisoners, and we saw how terribly they were treated. Oh, actually, it turns out that the hostages that the Hamas had were well taken care of, and it turns out that the hostages that Aardvark land had were not. Weird. But anyways, at the time, we were just moving at the speed of science. We were working with the data that was available to us, Sam. You can't blame us. It's not our fault. We were just doing our jobs, right?
A young Palestinian girl was injured by Aardvark gunfire into northern Gaza earlier today. The yellow line, again, a Palestinian man was killed after being run over by an Aardvark tank near the, quote, yellow line. And so apparently the yellow line is going to be the new border until they push them into the sea or whack them all. So yeah, and all that is from today. Aardvark military bulldozers demolish school in northern Gaza as Aardvark forces simultaneously advance deeper into the refugee camp. Heavy artillery fire and widespread bulldozing around the area are being reported.
This yellow line thing disturbs me.
Local sources report that Aardvark forces shot a child earlier today. There's video of it. We're not going to play the video. And so that's a ceasefire. Gaza officials reveal nearly 400 Palestinians killed since October in over 700 Aardvark land ceasefire violations. As we're looking to move on to phase 2, we haven't even started phase 1 yet, Ruckus, of an alleged ceasefire there between Hamas and Aardvark land.
Yay. Considering how well it's going now, I can't wait to see how swimmingly things go under phase 2. Not?
738 Aardvark land ceasefire violations have killed at least 386 Palestinians since the alleged ceasefire went into effect. It's not
Safe
a
and
ceasefire.
effective.
That's not a ceasefire. If you're killing people and stacking the bodies up, that's not a ceasefire. As they're looking here now to go into phase 2 of the ceasefire, which is just, what is it? We don't even have phase 1 yet. Aardvark land signs off. Aardvark Land signs off on 764. Isn't that the name of that satanic group, 764, coincidentally enough?
I think so. Yeah.
Well, Aardvark Land's using that same number. It's all just a big coincidence, you see. Aardvark Land signs off on 764 new West Bank settlement homes, Smotrich says. Aardvark Land Finance Minister Smotrich announced today that Aardvark Land has granted final authorization for the construction of 764 homes across 3 occupied West Bank settlements. 764. It's all just a coincidence, Ruckus. And
Nothing's a coincidence.
And the good news of the day, Iceland will be joining the boycott of 2026 Eurovision Song Contest, joining Spain, Ireland, Slovenia, and the Netherlands. All 5 have withdrawn in complaints against allowing Aardvark Land to participate in 2026 Eurovision Song Contest.
Good for them.
And that's all we got for today, Ruckus.
Wow, that went quick.
So we're stealing oil. We don't even say there's drugs there. We just go steal the damn oil and say they're violating some kind of sanctions against Iran or sanctions against Venezuela. And so that's where we're at now, is the new policies. We just take your stuff and call you bad. And if you don't like it, the big guns are going to get rolled out. It feels like anytime the big guns are going to be launched on Maduro in Venezuela. Ruckus,
it feels like that Trump's recent golf game with Lindsey Graham had something to do with this. I don't know. I got this funny feeling. I got like a Scooby sense or a Spidey sense going on about this one. I might be onto something here. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, because Trump went and did the golf game with Lindsey Graham, and right around that time, if I'm not mistaken, next thing you know, we heard, I think it was Marco Rubio came out and he made that ridiculous claim about how Venezuela was aiding Hezbollah. Yeah. And I'm just like, well, where did this guy, now this, and I'm like, now that's the official story. And I'm just like, hold on a second. Like, I think maybe this is the next chapter in this story. They're like, okay, we're done with this thing now. You know, the ceasefire is working well. They got a ceasefire going. They don't need us over there anymore. So moving on with Act 2 and whatever the hell this is. It's really wild, man. I did not expect. If you told me when I woke up today, guess what's going to happen today? We're going to seize an oil tanker from Venezuela, the largest one we've ever seized. I'd be like, nah, bro, you're tripping. Yeah, here we are. Holy crap. Yeah, it's pretty wild, man. I can't wait to see what tomorrow brings, Sam.
More death and destruction, I'm sure, all for our own safety.
Oh, hopefully. I mean, I don't want to be disappointed at this stage. I mean, there's still how many days left in the year? I mean, 2025 better not disappoint. It better go out with a bang, man.
We got a lot of stuff to take right here. Yeah. Venezuela, Guyana's not even talked about.
Look at all those shithole countries. We got work to do.
So obviously we'll take Guyana if we take Venezuela. Colombia, they just do cocaine. We got Ecuador. And so all right here in this, we got to take all of this, rich in oil, gold, natural resources. And so, of course, it's to stop all the drug trafficking, by the CIA there. And so we got to take all of this for the children, Ruckus.
Man, you should run for Congress. You got what it takes.
And with that, let's go to the channels and sign off on this Wednesday edition of Weaponized News. The Odysee, I see Gurr, Fat Bob over there, a few people in the chat. Highland, thank you guys for tuning in and keeping that chat going. Let's see if we can pull out qualified and vetted all those East Indians coming to serve Musk and dole out to the prisons of death. They hate white people. We oppress them while they shit themselves into sewage like Mexico. Thank you, Fat Bob, for that very illustrative post there. There's more, but we'll leave it there. Oh man, thank you guys for tuning in on the Odysee, the Bitchute, the X, Kick, Facebook, Twitch. Rumble and YouTube, of course. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in on all the platforms and chatting it up and keeping it lively and well. And thank you to Deaf Tears Mac over there for. And I did see that video. I don't really understand. I got your email of your video from your Rumble, and it's. I need more explanation behind it. Something to do with Lennon and his death, as reported yesterday or the day before. Anyhow, Mac, if you want to give me an explanation to the video you sent me, I would appreciate it. And we do appreciate your patronage to Weaponized News Store. Any final thoughts before we sign off this Wednesday broadcast, Ruckus?
Mateys, go get you a, I don't know, man, this is crazy. Boats and seizing ships, this is wild stuff. But thanks for having me, Sam. I look forward to doing it again next week. Make sure you catch me on Friday for the Boiler Room and Sunday for Sunday Wire. You'll find both those programs at alternatecurrentradio.com.
All right, and tune in to his latest episode. What is it called? Robot Phobia?
Robot Phobia. It's Out of This World by Jamie Hanshaw, if you want to find her on YouTube. Jamie Hanshaw. There you go.
I'm going to watch that. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. As always, do your own research. Peace, love, and freedom. Speak out and take action. Have a great rest of your Wednesday evening. And we'll be back here on Thursday for more